Picture this. It's 1966. American soldiers are living on the moon, inside a top-secret military base powered by nuclear reactors, armed with atomic weapons, ready to fight the Soviet Union in space. This wasn't a movie. This was Project Horizon, the real US Army plan from 1959 to build a fully armed lunar outpost with 12 men before the Soviets could celebrate their revolution from the moon itself. And the declassified documents prove it almost happened. In March 1959, the US Army issued a top-secret document titled Project Horizon. Tensions were rising during the ongoing space race between the United States and the Soviet Union, and the document called for the creation of a lunar outpost considered critical to US military interests on the moon. Soon, a study was launched to determine the feasibility of constructing a military and scientific moon base, inhabited by 12 men. The base was planned to be powered by nuclear reactors, making it self-sufficient and equipped with low-yield atomic weapons to defend it from potential Soviet incursions. Several top engineers, including Wernher von Braun, were tasked with overseeing the project. When the US learned that the USSR allegedly intended to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the October Revolution in 1967 on their own moon base, the clock began ticking. The race for the moon had begun. In the years leading up to the end of World War II, Germany was the unquestioned leader in rocket technology and the potential to one day reach outer space. The Germans were the first to launch artillery shells from the stratosphere to strike a city with the Paris gun in 1918, which had a range of more than 100 kilometers. They later surpassed themselves with the V-2 ballistic missile developed by engineer Wernher von Braun. It became the first man-made object to reach the edge of space, and there was no Allied countermeasure to the devastating effects of this weapon. However, the Third Reich fell by the end of the war, leaving Germany devastated. Allied forces seized secret laboratories, where German scientists had hidden valuable technology and research. Realizing the Germans were ahead in rocket science, the victorious nations sought to recruit these scientists to advance their own programs. The United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union all wanted to combine atomic weapons with long-range rocket technology to develop the ultimate weapons of mass destruction. The United States recruited hundreds of German scientists between 1945 and 1959 under Operation Paperclip to help develop its nuclear and space programs. These experts included von Braun and his team. The Soviets conducted similar recruitment efforts. By the time the Korean War broke out in 1950, von Braun and his team had already helped the United States develop the Redstone and Jupiter nuclear missiles. By 1955, the USSR was catching up with American nuclear and missile developments under the leadership of Sergei Korolev. As tensions of the arms race escalated through the development of intercontinental ballistic missiles, a new race began, one that would take place in outer space. When the Soviet Union launched Sputnik in October 1957, American morale suffered a major blow. Both the public and US allies felt vulnerable to what appeared to be Soviet technological superiority. This prompted President Dwight D. Eisenhower to establish NASA in 1958 to strengthen the American space program. Von Braun and his German team became an integral part of the US effort to restore its technological prestige. As the army worried about Soviet advances and the possibility of reaching the moon first, a plan was drafted to give the United States a strategic advantage. The idea was simple: establish a base on the moon before the Soviets did. By March 1959, things were not going well for the American space program. NASA had absorbed NACA to concentrate manpower and resources, but the agency still faced budget limitations. Meanwhile, the Soviets remained ahead in the space race. It was then that Lieutenant General Arthur G. Trudeau, the US Army's Chief of Research and Development, proposed a highly ambitious plan to establish a military and scientific base on the lunar surface. The program was called Project Horizon. At the time, the idea seemed almost unbelievable. Putting not just a man in space, but an entire team of 12 to operate a secret moon base was considered extreme, even unrealistic. Yet many believed it was technically achievable. The objectives behind this secret lunar outpost were detailed in a 118-page study. Its ultimate goal was to create a self-sustaining moon base that would serve as both a military stronghold and a scientific outpost for future US exploration. The base would be operated by 12 to 20 highly trained personnel. Its military purpose would be to protect US interests on the moon and deter Soviet exploration. Trudeau estimated the base could be completed by 1966 if everything proceeded as planned. According to intelligence reports at the time, the Soviet Union might attempt a lunar landing after 1965, increasing urgency within the Pentagon. In the study, Trudeau wrote, "To be second to the Soviet Union in establishing an outpost on the moon would be disastrous to our nation's prestige." Consequently, the Pentagon contacted Wernher von Braun, then head of the Army Ballistic Missile Agency, to help evaluate the project. Von Braun and his colleague Hermann Kuhle divided the study among various Army departments. The Missile Agency studied rocket requirements. The Corps of Engineers analyzed construction methods, and the Signal Corps examined communication systems. After 3 months of research, von Braun and Kuhle produced a report titled Project Horizon, a US Army study for the establishment of a lunar military outpost. The report was submitted to the Pentagon in June 1959. Its introduction stated, "The US intelligence community agrees that the Soviet Union may accomplish a manned lunar landing at any time after 1965. Political, scientific, and security considerations indicate that the United States must establish a lunar outpost at the earliest practicable date." Project Horizon was expected to cost about $6 billion, with an operational target date of December 1966. The Army estimated more than 100 Saturn, 1 or 74 Saturn, 2 rocket launches would be required to transport the necessary equipment. After construction, another 50 launches would be needed for resupply. Engineers proposed using natural lunar caves as living areas, sealing them with pressure structures to protect against radiation and micrometeorites. Designs included buried cylindrical habitats with separate living sections for the crew. 2 nuclear reactors would provide power. Water and oxygen would potentially be extracted from lunar materials. Crew members would rely on specialized suits and life support equipment. The base would also be defended against potential Soviet activity using specially adapted Claymore mines and nuclear-capable Davy Crockett recoilless weapons capable of firing sub-kiloton atomic projectiles. Surface vehicles would support transport, rescue, and reconnaissance operations. The Army argued that if Project Horizon received the same priority as the Manhattan Project, it could be completed. However, complications soon emerged. President Eisenhower ultimately rejected the project, citing the enormous costs and the need to prioritize other military commitments. The growing conflict in Vietnam was also consuming increasing resources. Meanwhile, the Kennedy administration shifted focus toward a symbolic and peaceful moon landing. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy announced the goal of landing a man on the moon before the end of the decade, even proposing cooperation with the Soviet Union. Despite continued interest from some military planners, Project Horizon became impossible after the signing of the Outer Space Treaty in 1967, which declared the Moon and outer space to be used for peaceful purposes only. To this day, some experts continue to revisit the idea of permanent lunar bases, this time focused on international cooperation rather than military competition. Project Horizon was never built. Too expensive. Vietnam took the cash. And the 1967 treaty banned military moon bases forever. But in 2026, the race is back on. So tell me, would you have supported an armed American base on the moon? Drop your answer in the comments. If this one got you, like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next unknown file.